Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video this afternoon I am going to be giving you a preview for the Manchester United versus Watford game at Old Trafford Sunday 2 o'clock kickoff. Now on this video I am going to be giving you some team news building up to the game. I am going to give you my starting 11 prediction, but we'll delve into that a bit later on in the video. Now, of course, we are looking for back-to-back Premier League wins. Of course, because, we did win our last Premier League game against Chelsea by 2-0. It was goals from Anthony Martial and, of course, Harry Maguire. That was Harry Maguire's first Premier League goal for Manchester United and his second in all competitions. And that was our first win at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League since 2012. And the first time we've done the double over them in the Premier League era. So that was a very, very good win against Chelsea, because obviously now it's kept our top four ambitions alive. We do remain now only 3 points behind top four. So hopefully, we can, beat Watford. It's not going to be easy against Watford, to be fair. Watford have slightly improved under Nigel Pearson's guidance. Not much. They haven't really improved, though. They've only improved a little bit. Watford are facing a relegation battle. They're sitting 19th in the Premier League. I think they've only registered 24 points of Watford from 26 games this season, if I'm right. And they've found goals hard to come by this season of Watford. They've only scored 24 Premier League goals in 26 Premier League games. They have only won one in their last 5 Premier League games of Watford. But, we've got a really, really good record against them at Old Trafford. I think we've won all our 6 games against Watford at Old Trafford. On the other hand, though, Watford have also got some pretty decent players in their team. They've got Ismail Assar. I think he's been recently injured for Watford. They've got Troy Deeney. They've got Decore. They've got De La Feu. They've got Tom Cleverley, who's a former Manchester United player. So they have got quite a few good attacking players of Watford. This fixture earlier on in the season was 2-0 to Watford. That was a surprise. I think they've beaten us twice at Vicarage Road at Watford. So it won't be easy. Like I mentioned, I'm taking nothing for granted because we haven't been so good against lower opposition this season. It's going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches this game against Watford. Obviously, we need a tactical change, definitely, because I thought he made a tactical mistake against Club Brugge yesterday. Of course, in the game against Club Brugge yesterday, like I mentioned, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had made 6 changes from the 2-0 win against Chelsea on Monday. Obviously, you saw Romero come into the team. He tends to play in the cup games. We saw Diego Dalot come into the team. Hasn't played too much this season due to injuries. We also saw Lingard and Mata playing alongside each other. Pereira also came into the team. Lindelof had come back from illness. So, yeah, Solskjaer did make 6 changes. Of course, everything was negative prior to the result. The result was a positive because Manchester United now have got that away goal. Martial had scored that goal. Martial has scored now in his last 2 games. It wasn't the best of performances against Club Brugge. Of course, Solskjaer, stuck with 3 at the back. I think, we look more expansive with 3 at the back. And in some of the games we've played with 3 at the back this season, we've done really, really well. But obviously, didn't work yesterday. And even Robin Van Persie had questioned Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team selection. Yes, he did question Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team selection in that game yesterday. In that, he was also, playing players out of position. Luke Shaw again was playing at centre-half. Luke Shaw is not predominantly a centre-half. He is predominantly a left-back. So he needs to stop playing Shaw at centre-half. He also played at centre-half against Chelsea. Also, too, Martial was playing in that number 9 role. Like I mentioned, Martial's not predominantly a number 9. He's predominantly a left winger. So I think from now on, Martial needs to be reverted back to the left-hand side. Also, too, Odi Nagalo didn't start like he should have done. Odi Nagalo did not start, like Solskjaer did confirm he was going to start. He did come on in the game, and I think he should be making his full debut against Watford this weekend. Should Odi Nagalo, but yeah, he didn't start. Fernandes, he didn't start either. He should have played ahead of Lingard in the game against Club Brugge, but yeah, he came on. Fred also came on in the game. And I think we saw more transition in the final third when that trio came on. We looked much better when they came on and that. He also rested Wan-Bissaka. Also, there was no Daniel James, so there was question marks over Solskjaer regarding that. But he did, rest quite a few key players. But I do believe in the second leg against Club Brugge at Old Trafford. The second leg is on the 27th of February. I do believe that game will be totally comparison. I think Manchester United will win the second leg because I don't think Solskjaer will take any risks in the second leg, especially reflecting on the injuries that Man United have got. I think in the second leg he will probably play Basaka, he will play Fernandes, Odin Igalo, and he'll also play the likes of Fred. So I do believe we will win the second leg, and like I mentioned, Manchester United have got that away goal. Manchester United have got that away goal. So I think in the second leg, Manchester United will win. We should have basically, beaten Club Brugge yesterday, because Club Brugge are a very, very poor European team. Their record also against Premier League opposition is very, very, very bad. I think they are winless in their last, 11, games against Premier League opposition. On the other hand, though, Club Brugge are sitting top of the Belgian league, the top of the Belgian league. I think they're 9 points clear. They was unlucky not to win it last season. Of course, we played Club Brugge, don't forget, back in the 2015-16 season. We're beating them 7-1 on aggregate. But yeah, definitely the Europa League is a priority for Manchester United. We want to win it. I think we are emerged as one of the favourites to win it. And, it's another route to Champions League football if we can win the Europa League. Plus, it's a chance of getting silverware on the board. Don't forget, we won the Europa League a couple of years ago under, the Jose Mourinho era because we beat an Ajax by 2-0. So yeah. So the second leg is on the 27th of February and that. So now, I will give you some team news building up to the game against Watford. I've got some positivity coming out regarding Scott McTominay. Now, reportedly, Solskjaer has confirmed that Scott McTominay is set to return for the game against Watford this Sunday. Obviously, McTominay has been back in training, which is very, very good news. So McTominay, may be involved in this game against Watford. McTominay has been, out with injury since Boxing Day. He has, been out with a knee injury. And like I said, he has been a big miss because I thought before McTominay got injured, he did really, really well for Manchester United. So yeah, hopefully, he can be back in action. So he has basically, been out for 2 months as McTominay. Also, got some news regarding Tuanzebe. He's also been back in training. He's been stepping up his fitness regime. So he also could play some parts in this game against Watford. Haven't really heard much news regarding Fosu-Mensah. I think he's still out with injury. I've also got some news regarding Chong and Angel Gomez. Solskjaer's provided us with some news regarding them. As you all know, Chong and Angel Gomez didn't train with the first team. And that because they'd already been in Belgium. They played an under-19s game in Belgium, did Chong and Gomez. Solskjaer said he's unsure about their futures, Chong and Gomez. There's uncertainty over their futures. I think their current contracts do expire at the end of the season, the Chongs and Gomez. I think Chong has been linked with a move to Italy and that, but I think they should be both moved on anywhere. Chong's not at that level as yet. And Angel Gomez, doesn't really get enough chances. And I did say, when's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to be convinced, to give them their chances. Mason Greenwood, he didn't play against Club Brugge because he was out with illness. This is why he was absent from training. And Mason Greenwood tends to start a lot in the cup games, but doesn't really start a lot in the Premier League. And that. Obviously, I've got some more news regarding Paul Pogba I want to give you an update on. It has confirmed, I've been reading reports today, that Paul Pogba has returned to the training ground. He has returned to the training ground after, his Dubai trip. I don't know if he's had any conversations with his agent, Mini Raiola, but he has returned to the training ground as Paul Pogba. Solskjaer did confirm prior to the game against Club Brugge that Paul Pogba is nowhere near close to returning from injury. And Solskjaer did reveal out, don't forget, that Paul Pogba may never ever play for the football club again. So he may never play for Manchester United again. Paul Pogba. If he does play again, I think the earliest we are looking at him being back is for the Manchester City game, which is in a couple of weeks' time, or is it just under a couple of weeks? And Paul Pogba, of course, is out with injury. He's had a couple of injuries this season, and this is the main explanation. This is the main explanation why, you know, he hasn't been playing. He's only played 8 games this season. I think it's like he's over a month now since he had the surgery on his ankle, but he isn't close to returning. His Pogba. Obviously, a lot of Manchester United fans and that, and Solskjaer have been infuriated with what Riley Ola's come out and said regarding Solskjaer and that, saying that, Pogba's likely to leave in the summer if Manchester United fail to qualify for the Champions League. He also, basically said that Paul Pogba is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's property in that. And these are the stuff, he was coming out with. And he just said he's convinced he'll leave in the summer. I don't know if Solskjaer's had any conversations with Riley Ola. I read the other day that Riley Ola wanted to have talks, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But the likes of Neville and that's been critical of him. Solskjaer's been critical of him, But Pogba's leaving Manchester United in the summer anyway. He'll either go to Real Madrid or he'll make a return to Turin, because Pogba did endure 4 good years in Turin with Juventus, but the vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison to his ones in Turin. Definitely in that. It says the other day in the media that Juventus were willing to offer a £125 million package deal, and they was willing to include Aaron Ramsey and Adrian Rabiot as part of the deal of getting Paul Pogba, but I don't see that happening. So yeah, I think his preference is to make a return back to Turin. Real Madrid have come out and said from their perspective they only value Paul Pogba at £50 million. I can't see Manchester United letting him go for just £50 million, because that's 3 times less than what we're demanding, because we said we want around £150 million for him this summer. We want more, obviously we want to get more money than what we paid for him, because we paid £89 million for him back in 2016. And that £50 million is £39 million less than what we paid for him from Juventus. But Manchester United won't sell him for £50 million. Pogba's now heading into the final year of his contract. Manchester United do have an option to extend his contract by a further year. And, I think we can afford to let Paul Pogba go if we can get the likes of Jack Grealish in. If we can get the likes of Jack Grealish in and James Maddison, as long as we can get the right adequate replacement for him, then we can let him go. Looking at it from a financial point of view, we'll get a lot of money for his departure. It'll also free up our wage bill a little bit, because he is one of the highest paid players at the football club, is Pogba. But, he said the other week he was stepping up his fitness regime, and he was expected back sometime this month, but now that is not the case, because Solskjaer, did reveal in January that Paul Pogba was expected back, sometime this month. But I'm still hopeful that he can play for Manchester United before he does leave the football club in the summer, definitely. Real Madrid wanted him last summer, but they didn't get him, reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because last summer we wanted around 150 or 160 million pounds for him. So yeah, so he won't be playing. Rashford, I think Rashford could be out until, the end of the season. Could be out for the rest of the season, could Rashford. Solskjaer did confirm prior to the Club Brugge game that, Rashford is touch and go to play again before the end of the season. He's going to be out for at least the next couple of months. And if he isn't fully fit by the European Championships this year, he won't participate in the European Championship. So Rashford's got a back injury. His back injury is more severe than what we initially thought. And, he was expected sometime back in March, but now that is not the case. So Rashford's back injury is very severe. And he has been one of our best players this season. Like I mentioned, though, Odi Nagalo is a good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. Is a good cover-up to Marcus Rashford in that. So that's a bit of the team news. I heard recently as well that Phil Jones has been injured. Fosu Mensah, Lee Grant, I think, has got an injury in that. But yeah, Solskjaer, I do presume, will make quite a lot of changes from the 1-1 draw against Club Brugge yesterday. Will he stick with the 3 at the back, or will he revert back to the 4-2-3-1 formation? Because Solskjaer's been going that 4-2-3-1 formation anywhere on a regular basis this season, but from my own perception, it hasn't really seemed to suit our standards. So yeah, so let's now get on with the starting 11 prediction now. I think David De Gea will be in goal. Obviously, he was rested against Club Brugge. David De Gea has become a liability in the last year and a half or so. But I still think he's had a good 6.5 years out of the 8 years he's been here. This will be David De Gea's 302nd appearance in the Premier League. De Gea's now into his 9th season at Manchester United. So, yeah, he will start in goal. I think he'll go back with a 4-2-3-1. I think Wan-Bissaka at right back. He'll be at right back with Wan-Bissaka. Definitely he'll be at right back. Because Solskjaer recently praised Wan-Bissaka anywhere. He really, really praised him, because he has seen the attacking side of his game recently, but he's also defensively very, very good. I think he'll go with Maguire and Bailly as a centre-back partnership. I think Lindelof will be rested, even though he's just recently recovered from illness, Lindelof. Bailly deserves another chance in the Premier League, because he was very, very good on his return to the Premier League in the 2-0 win against Chelsea. I thought his composure was good. His distribution, looks very, very good. So, I would play Eric Bailly at the back alongside Harry Maguire. He may play Lindelof, but I think he should go with Bailly. That game against Chelsea was Eric Bailly's first return. His first return to the Premier League since April of last year. But he's very, very injury prone. He's Eric Bailly. He sustained quite a lot of injuries as a Man United player. But yeah, go with him alongside Maguire. Harry Maguire, I think, he's done really, really well for the football club since his arrival from Leicester last summer. Of course, Manchester United paid 80 million for Harry Maguire, so he's the most expensive defender in the world, and he's the second most expensive signing at the club. I think Manchester United did make the right decision by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy on a permanent basis. We're giving the captaincy reflecting on Ashley Young's departure this year, because he went to Inter Milan. And I think at left back he will go with Brandon Williams. He could go with Luke Shaw, but I'm going to go with Brandon Williams because I think, Brandon Williams is a much better solution than Luke Shaw. In terms of the experience, obviously, Luke Shaw's a lot more experienced than Brandon Williams, but I think Brandon Williams is just a much better solution than him, so that's my back four. I think in the midfield he'll go with Fred and Matic more than likely. If McTominay is available, and I think he'll go with Fred and McTominay in that midfield. But he'll probably will be Fred and Matic. I think Fred's had a good couple of months for Manchester United, to be fair. He's done really, really well. I think he tends to play better alongside McTominay than he does alongside Matic, but I still think he does really, really well anyway, does Fred. Nemanja Matic, he's had a good last couple of games for Man United, to be fair. He had a good game against Chelsea on Monday. He had a good game against City in the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg. But I still don't think he's a long-term solution for the club. I've got a lot of element of concerns about Nemanja Matic. The three attackers, obviously, Bruno Fernandes in the number 10. This will be his fourth appearance for Manchester United. His third appearance in the Premier League. So I think he'll start this game with Fernandes. All Solskjaer needs to do is keep Bruno Fernandes in that number 10 role, because that's his predominant position. Obviously if he played him as a holding midfielder, that's when Bruno Fernandes could become a liability in that. But he's done really, really well so far as Fernandes, and he's enjoyed a good start to his Manchester United career. On the left-hand side, I'd put Martial there. I said revert Martial back to the left-hand side. Martial, like I said, scored twice in his last 2 games. He was in a bad vein of form, but recently has rejuvenated himself, to be fair. But we need to put him back on the left. Solskjaer is convinced that Martial can be a 20-a-season goal striker. So basically, he's backing Anthony Martial. He's Solskjaer. On the right, could put Juan Mata on the right, couldn't he? I don't think he'll play Lingard. I don't think he'll play Pereira. Daniel James, do you think he'll play in this game against Watford? Because a lot of people are saying that Solskjaer's overplayed Daniel James. I think he's played around 31 games in all competitions this season. Probably Daniel James on the right, yeah. If not Daniel James, I'll put Juan Mata on the right-hand side. Juan Mata, he's a good player, Juan Mata. I know he's aging up and he's lost that yard of pace. He's one of the players I would be determined to keep, because I think he's a good cover-up for Bruno Fernandes, is Juan Mata. But yeah, he's a very, very good player, he's Juan Mata. Definitely, he's been a long servant at the club. I think he's now into his 6th season at Manchester United. But yeah, so probably James on the right, and I'd put Odion Ighalo up top. We need to put Odion Ighalo in that number 9 role. Obviously, Odion Ighalo's not yet made his full debut for the club. He was unlucky not to score against Chelsea. We should have started him against Club Brugge, but I think he should start in this game against Watford. And we've got him on loan until the end of the season. If Odion Ighalo is to hit the ground running, than we was thinking about, getting him on a permanent transfer. So that is my starting 11 prediction for this game against Watford. That is my starting 11 prediction. Now, in terms of the transfers, like I've been keeping up to date with, obviously, Manchester United are making big plans for the summer transfer window. It is debatable if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be at Manchester United in the summer transfer window, though. If he is here in the summer transfer window still, that will be his 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Yeah, because so far at the moment, Solskjaer's been here over the year and he has enjoyed 3 transfer windows at the club, and he has spent around £220 million at Man United, and he's recommended 5 players in, of course, as Solskjaer. So he has spent quite a bit of money, since he has come in. On the other hand, though, a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. I think around 9 senior players have left. So some of the players that did leave last summer, obviously we've generated some money from their departures. Obviously, players are expected to leave this summer, so we're going to generate some more money for their departures, and it will also free up our wage bill a little bit. I was reading reports the other day, and it said Solskjaer is going to get around £274 million to spend this summer. Solskjaer did say he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United like he did do last summer and that. And there's a lot of players on our agenda. Obviously, the likes of Jadon Sancho, Jack Grealish and James Maddison, they're on our agenda. If we were to get that trio in the summer, they'd definitely cost us over £200 million. They'd probably cost us nearly £300 million for the trio. But on the other hand, they would dramatically improve Manchester United in that. And I think, for us to get the players to the elite level, what Manchester United have got to do is we've got to get Champions League football secured for next season, then we can get the players we want. It'll also generate more money, and plus, the resources of the club in general will be better if we can get European football secured. Solskjaer still believes, though, we can get the right players in, even if we don't secure any European football and that. But we are now in that top 4 race. We are only 3 points behind top 4 now. If we'd have lost to Chelsea, we'd have been 9 points behind top 4, then I would have fully disregarded it. But look at it, on the other hand, 5th place is now a Champions League spot anywhere, reflecting on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. But, I hope Manchester United can finish, still in the top 4 this season, definitely in that. But, like I mentioned, it said the other week that, Solskjaer will be sacked as Manchester United manager if Manchester United fail to secure European football and we finish outside the top 6. But if Solskjaer is to be sacked by Manchester United anywhere, I think it's likely that either Pochettino or Massimiliano Allegri will be our next manager. But, Solskjaer's been here now over the year. He's got many expectations to exceed, and I just feel as though the expectations are too high for him at Manchester United. It is a transition period for him. Like he revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful Manchester United can get through this transition period and that. And yeah, so I don't think Solskjaer will see out the 2.5 years left he's got on his current deal at Man United. There's a 25% chance he will be given another season at the club, because this is his first full season at Manchester United at the moment. I think Manchester United have made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent, but not only the explanation. I think the mistake Manchester United made, or one of the mistakes, was by not recommending Pochettino in after the sacking of Mourinho in December 2018. I think we made a mistake by giving the job to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on a permanent basis. The main explanation why we're giving the job permanently is reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager, did Solskjaer. I think, there's players that we've brought in over the years, some players that we've brought in over the years who we shouldn't have let go. Prime example, we shouldn't have let Herrera go last summer on a free transfer. We shouldn't have let Romelu Lukaku go. So that's another mistake Man United made. I think we also made a mistake last summer by not getting a director of footballing, because that's one of the structural changes that we need at the club. I think, we should have recommended Jose Mourinho win after after Ferguson's retirement. You know, Ferguson made a mistake by recommending David Moyes in. So they're the mistakes Manchester United have made in, you know, the last 6 or 7 years, and probably there's more that I haven't, you know, currently mentioned and that. But the main explanations why I don't think Solskjaer's the right manager for Man United is because he's too tactically naive. He's been tactically naive for the vast majority of this season. He doesn't really seem to have a plan A. He doesn't really have a plan B. I just think the strappings of the club are too high for him, and, you know, he's too inexperienced as a manager. And that's the reasons I don't think he's the right manager for Man United. He was a good player for us for 11 years, don't get me wrong, but I just feel as though as a manager, he's totally comparison to how he was as a player. Solskjaer, definitely in that. And, you know, Manchester United are not really known for the sacking football club, despite the fact that we've sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Moyes went, Van Gaal went, and Jose Mourinho went. So Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. A lot of money's been spent at the football club over the years. I think around £1 billion has been spent at Man United, including the wage bill, of course. That reckons it up to about £1 billion. You know, and this is disregarding what was spent under Ferguson. Around 67 spent under Moyes, 250 odd spent under Van Gaal, 400 million spent under Mourinho. The vast majority of these players are Mourinho's, and around 220 spent under Solskjaer. So a hell of a lot of money has been invested into this football club, definitely in that. And I think Solskjaer did reveal that he wanted to make 4 signings in the January transfer window. But like I mentioned, not only problems with the management at the football club, there's not only problems with the management, there's various issues at the club, and there's cultural problems at the club that need to be addressed. There's problems with the club's ownership. The Glazers have been here since 2005, and they've generated a lot of money out of this club. There's problems with the executive chairman, Ed Woodward. A lot of United fans have got doubts about him. There's also a lot of problems with the board and that. And, you know, there's still more players that need to leave the football club in the summer. So there's still a lot of things that, you know, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. I think the players that need to go in the summer is Jones, Lingard, Pereira, Matic, Chong, Gomez, Shaw. So I think these are, you know, the players that need to definitely, you know, leave Manchester United in the summer, definitely in that. So yeah, so that's everything to update you with today, guys. There'll be more videos coming up very, very soon. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.